All right, there we go. All right, rent the runway. So this week, this is something I never thought about, but it does say have someone offer an opening prayer to start the discussion. Allie, since you're the newbie, you want to pray?
Click on the new one, sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Father in heaven, we're thankful that we're able to gather together tonight to talk about our case study for this week, and please help us that we can be able to learn from each other and understand what we need to and be able to apply it in our future careers. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
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 Thank you so much.
I can share something of a spiritual nature.
Go for it.
So I recently got back from India for work, and we've got an office there with a bunch of software developers. And it was interesting. They're all like similar to my age. A lot of them are just like recent grads, in their 20s to low 30s. And we were out to lunch. There's just a few of them. We were just talking about life, and I started talking to them about what different religions in India and kind of what they believed. And it's funny because there's a lot of like Muslim and different types of religions there, but you see the younger crowd kind of like in America where they're becoming less religious, you know what I mean, and just kind of like believing in whatever. And so you see that going on, and it was interesting just to see, you'd ask them like if they believe in God or whatnot, and they were telling me how they believe in like this good spirit that you feel like gives you positive vibes when you're living a good life and whatnot. And it was interesting to be able to like relate that to that's what we call the Holy Ghost and whatnot. And then they asked kind of what we believed, and we talked a little bit about what we believe is our purpose here on this earth, and centered around Jesus Christ and whatnot. And it was just like crazy to see. Although the church is in India, it's not very widespread, just because it's really hard to get visas, and so there's only churches in like the bigger, there's only wards or branches in the larger cities. But it was just crazy to see, and just kind of made me realize how many people in the world today, not just in the U.S. but everywhere, who are still kind of living in ignorance, right, and really living just off the base on what they've been told and what they know so far. And it's just kind of like an eye-opener in how they know of like simple truths, but they don't really know what that is. For example, that this good spirit happens to be, the Holy Ghost, which is part of the Godhead. So it's exciting that, as the church grows, and I can see there's a lot of opportunity there, with these individuals who know some truths, but they need a lot more to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, thought that was interesting.
That's really cool. That's rather interesting experience. Something you really don't get outside of your mission, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You serve Allie or no?
Nah, I got married.
Fair enough.
Did the whole marriage thing. Mission in and of itself.
Yes, very much so true.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's go with the third question. It says, what grade would you give the founders of the Rent the Runway? Excuse me. I kept saying Rent the Runaway the entire time. for their work in starting the company. I would say, A plus. A plus. What that is absolutely huge. I know my wife. She's been a nanny in Utah, and she had one of the ladies she nannied for. She had it, and my wife ended up getting a subscription with them. It actually kind of blew me away what my wife knew about this company already. I think it's they had 150,000 subscribers within the first 2 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huge.
Yeah, I think girls know a little bit more about it.
No, it's.
So, Allie, tell me,
Yeah.
did you know about Rent the Runway?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Funny, because I knew about Dropbox and the other case study that we did, but
Yeah, I knew about Dropbox, but what I remember of Dropbox was when it very, very, very first started, and it was still really confusing and kind of hard to use, and you never got much storage on it, so kind of reading about the updates was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I've got to ask my wife if she knows. Like, I think Rent the Run. It's a sweet business.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sold. Like, I agree. A plus for sure. obviously had a lot of ignorance on starting a business, but they were super humble in the sense that they, like it talks about, they would go speak with anybody, take any opportunity to learn, gain
Mhm.
feedback, see what the users are saying, see what those that would actually provide the dresses are saying. And obviously, like it got completely kiboshed in the beginning. They're like, crap, we've got to figure out how we're going to do this. And as they continue to ask questions and gain more insight, they realized a model that resonated with the designers, as well as obviously the consumers. So I think they did a great job. They kind of pushed it until they figured out how to make it work, because they knew they had a great idea, but a great idea, there's usually more to it, right? And they figured it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, they went out to initially they went out and like, yeah, we have this great idea, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll be a part of it as soon as you get it going. Like they're like, wait, what? You guys are gonna take care of this for us? Like this is our
Yeah,
idea for you guys, and we just want to ride off of that. But no, they
yeah,
kind of realized that after the fact, and 2-3 months before they started the company, they were like, how do we start this website? Like there was a lot of things that they didn't realize they needed to end up doing, but unbelievable startup.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I give them an A+ for their thought process behind it, like their idea. The way they went about it at first was a little bit more in the B range, because it seemed like they were wanting the designers to take all of the risk, and all that they would do is provide the website, and they weren't really sure what target market they wanted to go for. Like they were kind of wanting to go for like the older, more distinguished ladies
Yeah,
who could honestly, if they wanted those dresses, just buy them anyways. But I really like how they flipped it around, like made their sales pitch better, and then changed their target market to like younger girls who want to buy these kinds of things and build that loyalty of them,
Hmm.
and then the designers would profit from it later.
yeah, for sure.
It also goes with this question. It says, let's see, what specifically were most effective, and what were the founders' stumbles? We kind of talked about that. What should they have done differently? Really, probably gotten a tech guy right off from the bat. Like they had someone in the business side, but they didn't have a tech guy until they realized almost until it was too late. Like, all right, we're gonna launch this in November. Wait, we don't have anyone to do this for us.
And when you're dealing with massive amounts of very expensive inventory and you have to handwrite every single thing,
Yeah.
that's just that's just no good.
Hmm.
Yeah, they should have hired my company. We're an outsourced development company, so
Oh,
we
that's
we could have done it all, you know.
little late to the party on
Yeah,
that
I
one.
know, I know. Just a touch, right? Couple months.
Touch, yeah.
Just a couple years, it's fine.
Just a couple of years.
Yeah, seriously.
Does the order in which they took specific actions matter? Yeah, I think it mattered completely. I think they could have probably gotten things going a little bit quicker and a little bit better right off the bat if they would have realized the order they needed to have done things in.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that.
Yeah, I think that's really all you can really say about it.
Yeah.
All right, question 4. Have the founders of Rent the Runway validated their business model? What is a business model? Be specific. Reading highlights highlights 4 component of the business model. Um, what are the key elements of Rent the Runway's business model? What does it mean to validate a business model? How do you know if it's validated? Which elements are validated? What evidence do you have to support your position? Invite others to share differing views. That's kind of like all the general question 4. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think?
So,
Have you guys looked at a what a business model actually looks like? This is big, like
yeah,
kind of map of where your key partners, your strategies,
Yeah.
your
like 100
main
pages.
plans.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's huge.
And if you're gonna get investments, like especially the way they do with VCs, they have to you have to have that,
Yeah.
Hmm.
to show that you really thought it out. So it obviously that case study, it doesn't talk a lot about their business model, but just looking at what happened and the outcome of the conversations that they had with venture capital businesses, it looks like it's definitely been validated, right? They
Hmm.
had some ideas. Obviously, they had to make several iterations in their business model as they learned and got feedback from outside perspectives. But and then what is a business model? I think that's obviously, like we talked about, it's a very in-depth outline that
Of what
consists
your
of
company
several.
is going to do.
Yes.
Essentially, it's basically your company's map. You could give the business model to anyone, and they would start that company, and they would understand what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The roles of the individuals, like everything.
Hmm
Yeah.
I,
And
I think,
while you're reading the case, if you just pull up like a quick Google search of the business model, you can basically fill in everything, on your own. Basically, the cost structure of everything, how they're going to get revenue, their customer segments that they're going after, and how they want their relationship with them. And you can kind of see where they started and then how they changed from being like maybe people don't want to let everyone know that they're renting this fancy dress into everyone is loving that they get to rent the fancy dress type of thing. So you can kind of see their growth through their business model too.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even with that business model, they were able to have right off the bat 12 of the, what was it, 12 of the big major designers
Once
jump
they
on
got
board
that pitch
almost,
right.
yeah, once they got that pitch. Yeah, once they got their pitch finally set up, they had a lot of people who were willing to back them,
Mm-hmm.
which huge.
It's way huge because designers are
They don't go
notorious
with,
for being kind of stuck up
Little
into
hotty
themselves.
toddy, right?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay.
Next question. How many times does a dress need to be rented in order to break even? How many times has an average dress been rented during the first 2 months of operation? What does the results imply about the viability of the business?
So I got for how many dresses need to be rented? Or sorry,
How
yeah,
many times
to
did
break
you
even.
rent
How
it?
many times? I got 7.66.
I got 4.
I
Oh,
got four
really?
also.
So I did it wrong.
So what if you look at it said they go off of Exhibit 4, and it
Yeah.
said
So
that
go ahead.
they said that it started off that the retail dress was $750. Wholesale was at like 323, and to them, they were buying the dresses at 226 a piece,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
renting them out at $90.
And then you
And
gotta subtract the shipping and the
yeah, 31 the
cleaning costs.
$31 in yeah the
So
$31
you know what?
in variable costs.
But they send 2 dresses every time in 2 different sizes, and so that's why I'm at 8 and you guys are at 4. I
I
bet.
think I think it said to ignore that though,
Oh,
didn't
okay.
it?
So then yeah. Did you get like 3.66 or
It's like
something?
it's like 3.8.
Yeah. Okay. So I doubled it, and that's why I
Oh,
got
that
it.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Because yeah, I
Yeah.
think it said to ignore the fact that they're sending out two dresses, didn't it?
I don't recall that, but you both got
Let me.
4. So
You might be right because I know that
It
it did
makes
talk
it makes
about it.
sense to do 8 though.
It does make sense
because they're
because they're
sending
sending
two
out the
every
two
time.
dresses.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the questions here because I could have sworn it said something about it.
And I actually wrote a note about this too that I said that they need to take into consideration how many times the dress can be worn and washed. And if
Yeah,
it can't take over, if it can't be rented out at least 10 times, they probably shouldn't carry it because they have
Yeah.
to cover their initial cost, they have to cover for more inventory, and they need to, take into account they have to send out 2 dress sizes, like you were saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
So yes, to break even, it's 4, but they really need to
Mhm.
rent it out a lot more times than that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, so that's why I got my break even at around 8 just because of the 2, but
Oh, it says don't forget that they ship two dresses in a given style per order. So yeah, yours makes more sense.
okay.
You make more sense in
They
that.
break 8 breaks even because of the fact that they have to ship
Because they
2.
have to send 2.
Exactly. 8 breaks even. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I think
so in essence they're renting 2 dresses and they just wear the one that fits best and they send them
yeah.
both back at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That does add to the cost quite a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about the whole thing. Like, different designers are going to size things differently, and so you can't say, oh well, I'm a size 6,
That's
but
true.
and
Yeah.
a lot of designers use European sizes, and so it's just. I know my wife had a big deal with her dress for
Yeah, I was
when
gonna
she
say
got
wedding
married.
dress shopping. If you're a size 6 in real life, you best be trying to find a size 10,
Size
Yeah.
10, 12,
or 12 even.
yeah. So
Huh.
So yeah, it's that's why I was like, well, how are they gonna do that if a woman? Oh well, I think I'm a size 8. No.
Yeah, and they had to post like on the on the website kind of what the dimensions of each dress is going to be, because
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong when it comes to like inches. But
Yeah.
yeah, it takes a
When you
lot
go
of
with
time to do
when
that
you
for
go with
everybody.
actual physical measurements
Yeah,
instead of just like an actual size, because size almost doesn't mean anything to designers.
right.
It's whatever they kind of want to put it, but yeah, I think that makes more sense about the 8 and change to get it done. But it also says on average how many times the dress is being rented. I didn't get that. I didn't find that.
I didn't see that either.
How many times has an average dress been rented in the first 2 months of operation? Yeah, I don't remember that actually being part of it. I have average rental gets rented 0.75.
0.75.
Yeah.
Where was that?
So the comparison to early performance, there's rentals in first month was like 600, right?
Mhm.
And then number of dresses in inventory was 800. But then I wonder if we need it. It was 800, but then they had 1,600 different styles. Was that right? I don't know.
I think they only had like 160 different styles, but a bunch
Yeah.
of dresses in each style.
But 800 dresses in total.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the average, like a dress gets rented on a monthly basis, was like 0.75. That's what I got. And then estimated annually was 9. That it gets rented out 9 times per year.
So then they're just barely breaking even on each dress.
Yeah,
After a
so the
year.
estimated annual profit per dress was $79.
Dang.
So the first year
That's
definitely,
rough.
but to even be positive after your first year of operations in a startup is
That's very
incredible.
true.
That's incredible.
That's a
But
very good
obviously
point.
that's not taking into consideration what they pay their employees. So they definitely weren't positive and as a company, but they were positive with their
Inventory.
inventory.
They weren't
Yeah.
having to pay for inventory in the second year, which is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, obviously, like a lot of startups, they're not positive for the first even 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
It takes money to make money, and so a lot of times when you hit this crazy growth, you start spending a ton more by hiring people to augment in certain areas, and that impedes your your ability to become positive. But they're in good shape after 1 year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering that the fashion world moves around a lot, so they can have a few key pieces, but to be able to buy more dresses every single year to keep up with things,
That's true. They can't just use the
that's
same dresses.
rough.
Yeah. That's true. That adds a lot to the cost, right? Like they can't
Mhm.
just use these dresses for 3 years and then get new ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
no.
like
things can be in 1 year, and then the next year is like, oh, never again.
yeah,
Well,
it's not
isn't
like a gear shop where you rent kayaks or paintball guns or something. They can use them for 3 years, then get a whole new line in.
Mhm.
hmm No, these have to probably go in, you know, year or so, year or two, and call it quits. But isn't one of the options? I think my wife said is that one of the options is that if you like the dress enough, you can end up buying it from him, can't you?
Probably.
There's probably a buyout option. Yeah, I
Yeah,
went to their website. They
their
have
website's really good, really well set up. It's set up like a lot of other boutique
Hmm.
shops like this. Like I know we were searching for my wife's or a diaper bag for my wife. It's set up almost identical to Petunia Pickle Bottom.
oh really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it
That's
was
sweet.
rather interesting. Like basically the only thing that changed on it was dresses and not bags.
Bags. Changing pads.
Yeah. But then so the last question says, should Runway seek to scale quickly now or address operational efficiencies? For those who are in favor of scaling quickly, persuade the group that this is the right course of action. For those who are in favor of improving operational efficiencies, make a strong case to convince those who disagree that you have the right decision. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think they need to scale or to up their operational efficiencies?
Operational. Definitely operational efficiencies, because if they don't have the right infrastructure, they can scale all they want, but they're not going to be able to handle it, and they'll run into a lot more roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when it's kind of a new company and they're still kind of small, now is the right time to make sure everything is set up right, so that they have the support behind them to be able to scale up.
Yeah. I almost think in a way they can do both, right? Like
That's what I.
spend 3 months getting operations in place. But here's the thing, like they're doing great after their first year, so their VC that's backing them has got to be just loving it, right? So in my mind, I've seen what venture capitalists will do. If your business is doing well, they will throw money at you and
Keep
they will tell
throwing
you to
money.
spend it. They'll say, spend it, spend it, spend it. Like let's flood the market with what we're doing. So I couldn't see like the VCs being like, oh, let's just spend a year on operational, right? Like you know what
I
I
don't.
mean?
I don't see that being effective at all. Like I think also that you need to kind of go both ways because like yeah, you need to look at your traffic, but you also have to look at well, if there's no traffic and there's not enough to support everything, I think that could really kind of go both ways. Like I
Yeah.
imagine Allie, you look like you like makeup. I see you got your eyes really done well. My wife really likes makeup too.
I did my makeup today.
Yeah, ColourPop is a huge makeup company. They sell really cheap, good makeup. They had their whole website on 20% off, and which was only $1 in reality, but they crashed their website because of their discount. They weren't ready for it. So I think you need to look at it both ways. You need to look at,
Yeah.
looking at that traffic, but you also have to find the right people. They're talking about doing maternity. They're looking at doing,
Accessories.
shoes, doing makeup, doing accessories. I think you have to combine both of those things about scaling up and fixing those operational efficiencies.
For sure. For sure. No, and Allie, you made a great point because obviously, it's so much easier to make those changes and implement different software tools now than later, and collecting that data early on rather than later. Like, I've seen the pain point of what it's like to not have clear data or reporting tools or just algorithms to process everything. And then what it's like to have that. So for sure, they do need to get that in order. I think that's priority, but let's figure out how we can do both. That'd be
Yeah,
what I'd go with, right?
exactly.
Knock out the operational, but that's not going to take forever. Maybe 6 months, right?
Right.
Then
That
you
could
can
be a short fix if they wanted to, or at least a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, because I remember reading it and feeling really bad for them being like handwriting out shipping receipts and stuff
Yeah,
for
and they're
every
losing
order, and
people.
everything gets lost because you have all these people that don't know where that dress is going or this dress is going, and they mix them up, and like imagine doing that with thousands more dresses plus a bunch of little teeny inventory things, like a set of earrings is supposed to go with that dress. And I mean, if you don't have the support underneath that could just become a disaster and ruin them.
Yeah.
For sure. And they're losing customers,
Because they kind of had to go with a word of mouth or social media thing, where girls who have had a good experience will go say, hey, go try this website. It's so much fun. I got this and it was perfect. But that could also go the other way, where if they have a problem with it, they'd be like, oh yeah, I tried them once and it was just terrible. They sent me the wrong dress and the shoes didn't go with it. They're not what I ordered. And that is just as bad, if not worse, than anything else.
For sure. They can't afford that negativity.
Yeah.
So, because they had so many people lined up, right? And then tons were disappointed in the beginning, which, obviously, like, there's a lot of ways to get around it. They just simply didn't have enough dresses. And if that's the case, like, that's okay, right? They're going to grow and people will understand that. But when you're getting the wrong size or getting, orders mixed up or missing orders, that's going to really
not having enough dresses is a very different problem than getting the wrong dresses sent to you.
Yeah, for sure. Man, handwriting all those
that would not be cool
on the business, right? Like that becomes a full-time job.
Yeah.
Well, I know I work at Melaleuca here in town. I
Yeah.
imagine you've seen it. If you guys have been to Rexburg, and
Can you imagine writing out everybody's orders?
it happens. It does happen. Our system will go down. We've had ends of months where our website will crash and people will start calling in and we'll start queuing, 400 or 500 people, and we'll have to start handwriting orders. It's not fun.
Oh
I
man.
I sit there and I just want to end call back in an hour when things are fixed. That's what I would
Yeah.
have thought. I was like, I can take this by hand and it's not going to get processed till another day or so, or you can call back in an hour and have it processed.
Yeah.
Like it's not cool.
Man. That's rough. Well, I'm trying to think. Is there any other?
That looks like it's about it for this one.
Yeah.
I think
So
we all agree on what they should do.
Yeah,
we convinced each other.
there we go.
Also, I think they did do that too, because you can go into their website now, and they are offering all of those accessories, shoes, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They've got all that now, but I think that the way they went about it was to get the support underneath first, and then move
Yeah.
up.
I need to ask my wife if she knows about Rent the Runway. I think this is the way to go. Like, if for some reason she needed some formal dress, I think I might do this.
Spend $100 instead
you
of
look at it.
500.
Well, the thing is, in what designers started to notice is I think there's like a 75%. No, sorry, it was above 50% return rate. So a lot of women will go to like Macy's or some, what is it, Neiman Marcus?
Neiman Marcus.
Yeah, and they'll buy a nice dress for a night, and then they'll go return it.
They'll tuck the tags in and.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
had friends that'll do that. 'Cause
Yeah, tons of people do.
if you're gonna wear the dress one time, why are you gonna spend, $700, $900 on it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
This is the way the world's going, though. Like, look at all these on-demand, like Uber, and I work in the tech space, and we're a software development company, and we work with a lot of startups, and they're always coming to us with their ideas for us to build, like, their first MVP, their minimal viable product, which is the way Rent the Runway went. They built their minimal viable product and then scaled from there. And you wouldn't believe how many people are coming to me with, like, different on-demand type platforms for their industry, similar to Uber. They're like, we want to do Uber for this, That's kind of, this isn't, it's a little on-demand, right? Like, as on-demand you can be with a dress. So
Yeah.
it's the way of the world. Retail shopping is kind of, in my opinion, it's
I don't.
kind of,
Me and my wife, we don't buy anything unless it's on clearance at TJ Maxx or at Ross, and then we're still in the clearance section.
Yeah, like we're buying furniture right now, and we're getting our furniture from like places that people that stage homes, and then they go and sell this nice furniture for half the price.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I'm gonna need you to send me like the website for that, because I had to buy all new furniture in the next month and a half.
I'll send it to you. It's a Facebook group. They're in Utah, so. But I bet
What's it called?
I have to ask my wife. She watches it all the time. But they'll have like West Elm, Pottery Barn, all that stuff, and
That's crazy.
pretty cool. Yeah, but it would be like, and it sometimes has a little bit of like damages on it, but nothing to.
But hey, if you're getting a $1,500 couch for $700,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. That you really are like $2,000 couch for $700. So. But yeah, I'll add you guys or send you the link to the group, and then
That's great.
maybe from there you can find out if there's something in California.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well,
All right. Well, let's wrap this up for tonight. All right, I'll go ahead and